We did it, y'all. We made it through a summer anime season. A whopping total of 60 plus anime premiered this summer. There's no way a mere mortal could check them all out, so I'm here today to bring you a speedrun overview of a few anime from the season that were standouts and a few more that were absolute game changers. It's your boy Spam Folda. If you like anime content reviews and rants, then definitely subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's slap on some sunscreen and let's run it back to the 2025 summer anime season. The summer Hikaru died. Finally, a horror anime with actual spooky vibes and good animation. The summer Hikaru died is a show based on the idea of losing a loved one and what would happen if they came back to life. But what if what came back wasn't actually them? The idea of loss and sentimental nostalgia centered around the two leads of the show are the glue that keeps you watching, and not to mention the sporadic horror getting more and more present throughout the show as it goes on.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
This series has already been greenlit for a season 2, which is good news for the cliffhanger cathartic ending we got at the end of the season finale. I will say the only con about this show is that it does meander and it does take its time. This isn't one where you're going to be getting jump scares every 5 seconds. The summer Hikaru died is as gorgeous as it is emotional. A must watch. Part horror, part thriller, a whole lot of visual goodness, and a little bit gay. This is the meme right here that got me to watch this show.
Horny nigga detected. Horny nigga detected.
Clevatess made me interested for the promise of jiggle physics, but I stayed for the dark fantasy elements. Let's be honest, our chances of getting a good and legal Berserk adaptation are pretty slim. So when we get a dark fantasy anime without laughable animation that isn't an isekai, we've got to party just a little bit. Clevatess takes place in a fantasy that's equal parts fantastical as it is brutal. A lot of Berserk comparisons come from how unflinching the show is when horrible things happen to these characters, especially the main character. This girl eats shit a lot. A lot. And that goes for the other characters of the show. They go through some of the darkest backstories any edgelord can cook up. Is it dark? Hell yeah. Is it packed with impressive lore and world building? Check. For the love of God, is it not an isekai? Check. This show slaps, but it ain't touching no Berserk. Kaiju number 8, this season really steps the game up with bigger stakes and bigger battles, and they made the character models a bit less cheesy and goofy. The support characters were put at the forefront, getting all kinds of cool power-ups and a lot of character development. The biggest shame of the show is that Kafka, our main character, was the least interesting character this time around. Sure, he's got a budding romance that's addressed for maybe like one scene this season, and the Kaiju taking over his body was a really cool obstacle I suspect will come more into play in the following seasons. Kaiju number 8 fits real good in that sweet spot for lovers of Attack on Titan and Parasite the Maxim quite nicely. Gachiakuta. Can I make the joke now? Yeah? This anime is trash! Just kidding, but also kinda accurate. Everything about Gachiakuta screams punk, from the wild hairstyles to the tattoo graffiti, the headbanger opening and closing theme songs. Initially, I was a little weary the show was going to be generic, something I'd seen before, typical shonen plot, but actually that award goes to Togenaki this season. But what we got was... God damn! Rudo, chill, bro, chill. Pure cinema. Gachiakuta is more than a shonen with punk aesthetic. The mangaka and certified goth baddie Kei Arano and former assistant on Fire Force crafted a trash-filled wasteland filled with a lovable cast of characters. I mean, these freaking character designs are just too memorable and stand out. And with the addition of a power system that's interesting and unique, but way easier to follow than Hunter x Hunter, this show is anything but generic. Studio Bones is airing the final season of Hero Academia as I'm literally recording. And with that series nearing the end, probably going to be the perfect series to fill that seasonal anime vibe once it's over. The fragrant flowers bloom with dignity. I watch anime for the fights, the struggles, but sometimes I want to balance out the tons of testosterone coursing through my veins, so I watch romance anime. This anime had all kinds of potential, a Romeo and Juliet story about warring schools. I'm low-key a simp for the more tender side of anime for this kind of story, but I couldn't finish this. I tapped out around 3 episodes after periodically rolling my eyes. First off, it makes no sense. Forbidden romance among clashing clans is a trope as old as Shakespeare. But check this out. What if the warring faction was literally 20 feet away across the block? So this the Lincoln all-boys school is directly next to a posh, upscale school for all girls. What could possibly go wrong The anger, the feuds, the way the characters were so bought into the school rivalry to an almost vicious extent. In shows like Tokyo Revengers and Windbreaker, I'm fully engaged in the school hating each other and deleting the battles. But here, kinda contrived, kinda mean-spirited with no justification. Maybe future episodes gave more to invest in, but I couldn't sit through another episode of characters just trying to tell me this tall-ass pretty boy is scary. Fragrant Flowers was unfortunately did not finish. I'm just gonna watch Blue Box and Your Name again instead like a sheep. Fun fact, my first ever vid on this channel was in fact Sakamoto Days. So it's a special place in my heart. The first season of Sakamoto Days gave us a fun mix of slapstick and action choreography. Sakamoto Days is like a really solid cheese pizza with no toppings. No fluff, no razzle dazzle, no toppings, not even stuffed crust. What you expect is what you're gonna get. Most of the hate came from an animation style that was stiff and lackluster direction style. This time around, Sakamoto still has its comedic charms, but the story is much darker. I love the introduction of X and Gaku's I don't give a fuck attitude about getting his arm chopped off, cementing him as my favorite character in this show. The Order members were also ore farming all over early episodes. Usaragi, Shadi, you didn't have to go this hard, but I needed it in my life. And at the end of the season, the plot was definitely ramping up. The lore getting deeper. Some of these characters' introductions, plus more of a lean into the action assassin premise, still couldn't scratch that itch that something's missing here. Maybe if they throw in a little bit more spice on the animation direction, Sakamoto Days next season will have me coming back for more. I already have a full review of Takopi's Original Sin on my channel, you should check it out. But in summary, if you like edgelord content, this might tickle your fancy. But if you're a fan of emotional whiplash, gorgeous animation, and maybe calamari that's been dipped in tears, then this show might be for you. This second half of Dandadan took what made the first half so great and elevated to the max. Better music, crazier fights, and is that my boy Okarun getting some action? Aside from Okarun slowly assembling a harem, this time around Dandadan picks up right where we left off. Gigi spazzing, Momo fighting off creeps in typical fashion, and Ira trying to cockblock. Dandadan reminds me of early Fooly Cooly in the way that it's not afraid to just take it there. Character fights, zany situations ensue, but the show's so good at making you just suspend your disbelief and just accept what's on screen. Hijinks that a lesser studio definitely couldn't pull off. And the greatest thing about this season, they still managed to squeeze the tender moments between Momo and Okarun. Still a better romance than Fragrant Flowers, I must say. My biggest con this season, we had to sit through the introduction of Shinta to get to a Gundam and Gurren Lagann reference. It pains me.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
To Be Hero X. This is the anime of the year and 2025 isn't even over yet. I don't care, fight me in those comments. To Be Hero X is a series done in collaboration with Aniplex and Chinese studio Bilibili. Yes, I know it's technically a donghua, calm down. The biggest draw of this series was the crisp back and forth transition 2D to 3D CGI. I was worried the series was gonna spam this as a gimmick, but they instead used it sparingly, and when they chose to do the back and forth, it was a definite highlight of the show. Fight scenes that have you picking your jaw from the floor.
Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!
To Be Hero X is an anthology following the lives of superheroes whose powers come from adoration and fame. A stand-in for your favorite celebrity. Just like the real entertainment industry, everything is not what it seems, and a plot that interweaves the life and times of the heroes, all culminating in a battle royale to claim the rank of X, the #1 hero. To Be Hero X was a series that has some of the most impressive utilization of CGI visuals I've seen in a very long time. The CGI was almost perfect. To Be Hero X is a series that makes you love it but doubt it right up to the final handful of episodes. And when you finally get the answers you were looking for, about 100 more pop back up. And guess what? I'm here for all of it. So the real question is, where is my season 2? And a better question is, who's taking your vote for best white-haired ore farmer? The list is growing. And that's the rundown of the summer anime season and the shows that I watched, y'all. I know we're knee deep in the fall, but I had to get my anime yap on and pull this one out the tuck. What anime was your favorite of the season, and what are you watching this fall? Let me know what shows I slept on and missed. We've got more anime news, reviews, and content to come, so if that's your vibe, like the vid and definitely subscribe to the channel. And as always, y'all, check your inbox, delete your recycle bin. It's been your boy Spam Folder. Fight me in those comments. Peace!